Hello everyone and welcome to another War Leader PvP video. Once again, Update 5 Rise of Isengard, and today I'm going to show you some small grouping videos. So let's go ahead and get right into it very quickly. For these videos, I'm going to be grouped up with a couple of tribe members. First, I'll be running along with Morgale, who is formerly known as Tipir. He is the highest ranked spider on our server, and also a friend of mine. He's recently joined the tribe. Before that, he was in another tribe, but he's run with the White Hand on numerous occasions and stuff. So he's been part of the End Friends. Great guy to know, and fun to fight alongside. All right, for this first fight, I got to give some background exposition. What happened was we went up to Grotham because his spider sense was tingling. We found a warden, so we killed the warden, and the warden didn't release. So we were standing around, and he hadn't released, and so we realized he's called for someone to come res him, and he's probably not warning them about the fact that there's guys standing here, or he would have released by now or something. So we just kind of walked out of the way. We hadn't been hiding or anything, and waited for whatever he'd called to show up. And a lore master showed up, so we killed it. And then we went back, and the lore master released, and the warden didn't. And he said, "Wow, he's called somebody else." So we went back out again, and so I went out towards the doorway area. Tip stayed down near where the warden was, just in case I came from the other side. And I got myself down where the crude Eisen map is, just out of sight. And I saw a minstrel poking up at the doorway, and they were being real cautious and stuff, and not getting too far in. And then they rode right inside of Grotham and jumped up onto a rock, and I was just like, okay, time to get you.
Not yet.
And so here we go.
Right,
There goes the
in,
minstrel. Minstrel is not paying attention. I come right behind and fracture right off the horse, and there we go. I'm just going to stay right here and just put on damage. I've got the slow on the minstrel. Spider's on the way, and minstrel is not going to survive this. There we go. Damage is coming in. I've already dropped Banner of Terror. I really shouldn't have dropped the Banner of Terror there, but we're just having fun right now, and it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But really, I should have saved it. It wasn't necessary for a single minstrel. So we're going back to the check on the warden to see if he does anything.
The goblin's tongue.
And we run into another minstrel over there. So they were coming at us from two sides, but good thing we went back to check because we found the minstrel. Hooray! Now Dagger is one of the better minstrels out in the Moors of Landerval. He's always healing raids. He's one of the toughest raid healers that there is, and although I've never actually managed to talk to him or stuff, I have a lot of respect for him. And here comes Father Damien. Father Damien's a runekeeper, but right now he's on a ranger. So we're gonna go ahead and drop Dagger. He's the more dangerous target of the two, and then we're gonna see if we can drop the ranger as well, while they're focusing on the spider, which really isn't gonna work for them because he's got a war leader backing him up. And yeah, AoE heals, fun, fun, fun. Alright, we managed to get the crits there.
Alright, Ranger time.
For a light armor guy, the dagger takes a long time to go down.
That's Father Damien.
He lasted quite a bit longer than the other minstrel did, and it's not like the ranger was doing a whole lot in terms of slowing down our damage output. So, got the slow on him, he goes ahead and disappears. So we're going to go ahead and drop combat, and I'm going to track him. We're fairly certain he jumped off the cliff down here and slid down, but we're not going to just jump right off after him.
As soon as we drop combat.
Oh, we can chase after him. We've got Mobilize now.
And then I'm going to hit Mobilize, and we're going to get...
I track. There's that Lore Master again.
I've got another guy on track. It's the Lore Master.
Good thing we didn't jump down, because now we can go after the Lore Master instead.
He's out this way. I think he's grouping up with the Rangers, so this is going to be interesting.
Lore Master is going up towards Eisendeep. He realized he was tracked. I see him running over there. So what I decided to do is I'm going to come up after him, and I'm going to try to avoid his sight for as long as I can, and see if I can get the drop on him. That's going to be really difficult because this is a narrow hallway, but if you know where you're moving, then it's still possible to pull stuff like that off. So what I do is I don't crest the hill here because I know he'll see me, especially because I can see him on my map. I try instead to jump inside of here so I can move to the side. Tip comes all the way out here, and he just webs the guy. I could have stayed out of that whole area, but it's important that I didn't show that we were right there over the hill because he couldn't track us until Tip, who could actually dismount him, could come over and get him. Now he's using a lot of CC, but really not too concerned about that. I'm just going to go ahead and heal myself up, keep both of us up. Get a second crit there, which is very fortunate for us because that means that we're able to keep damage on him. I get a third crit with Intimidating Shout, so he's still slowed.
I'm getting good with the crits. He is not getting away right now.
He could pop Wisdom of the Council and Man Heal right now, but it's a 2-on-1. He's not going to get away from this right now. He just can't. Fourth crit with the slow, and down he goes.
Slowed again.
Okay, so what happens after that is we go back to Gotham, and that Warden retreats. But we decide to hang out because you never know. The freeps might come back. They're looking for revenge for us. Well, I spot one guy hanging outside the door, so I go after him, get jumped by 5 guys, and end up getting flattened. But we call it out, and they map in, and there's a GM there. So I come back, and the only guy left alive is the GM. As you can see, he had 172,000 health, but he's just getting hammered by a bunch of NPCs and about half a raid worth of creeps, so he's not going anywhere. But you know what? You don't get to see a GM very often, and it's even rarer is the chance to kill them. GMs used to do events like this all the time back in Shadows of Angmar. I wasn't really around then, but that's what I heard and such. They've stopped that with Moria, but they're finally bringing back GM events on the Turbine Run servers, and it's great to see that. It's a great way for the community to actually get to connect with developers on some level. Even though GMs aren't developers, it feels the same for the players, because it's Turbine employees, and they're actually out there interacting with the community in very tangible ways.
Oh no, he's waiting for a res again.
And there's that Warden once more. Alright, now here we are near GV. We've added Uzgaroth. He is another tribe member. Usually he plays a Reaver called Urzgash. You may have noticed him in some of my videos that from raiding and stuff, like the raid night with Ugmog. He's been in those, often as a target assist and stuff. Great friend and stuff. Great tribe mate. I trust him a lot. In the background there's another warg, and this is a 4 versus 4 right now. Or was rather. I believe that the warg already dropped another hunter, so it's turned into a 4 versus 3. Now we've got Minstrel, Hunter, and a champion. What we're trying to do is, Tip is keeping the hunter crowd controlled as best as he can. We're ignoring the champion and just healing through his damage and stuff, and keeping the fight mobile as much as possible, and trying to put damage on the Minstrel. Minstrel has gone into feigned death, so we're going ahead and going after the hunter. If we can drop the hunter before the mini gets back up, then that turns it into a 2 versus 1. Minstrel has just come back up, so now it's time to get the mini.
Minstrel's back up.
Minstrel's very low on health here, and down it goes. And now it's time for the champ. Champ is 1 versus 4. He gets us all stunned right there, but unless he hits sprint, he's not going to get away or anything. And he chooses to stand and die. But here come more creeps right down the hill. And this is a hunter and 2 minstrels and a guardian. So this is going to be a lot tougher to deal with. We're going to try to put damage on the minstrels, but we are weakened from our previous fight. Banner of Terror is on cooldown. But we still think we have a chance at this. Unfortunately, our other warg has left us. He was not actually grouped with us, and so that's tipped the scales decidedly against us. Here comes that warden from earlier, so it's now 5 versus 3, and I believe another minstrel may have just entered the fight. We're still alive right now, but we're clearly in over our heads, and it's only a matter of time before we go down. I want to try to get a res off for both of them, but they're just focusing on me, so I drop the res, get his back up, and it's not going to stay alive at all. I didn't even get my other heal off there, which only really prolonged it a little bit.
And I forgot to add target assists.
Now I'm adding target assists up for us to actually use those. I mean, well, it wouldn't have made a difference, but you know, it's always nicer to have target assists. And so they get 3 kills there, and Urz gets away after his res. So we come back for another round with those guys. They're gone, but the other ones that we'd run into earlier, the 3, the hunter, the minstrel, and the champion are here. So we go after it. It's a 3 versus 3, and you know, seriously, we don't even have any concerns about being able to drop these guys. they're not going to be able to beat us, really. One minstrel, pretty easy for us to shut down and take care of that.
Slowed again.
Two minstrels, on the other hand, very difficult to deal with. And especially with the creep mitigation bug, where we don't get proper mitigations versus tactical damage, it's really tough to stand up to two minstrels pumping out a lot of tactical damage, and you don't even know which one's gonna drop out of war speech and be healing, and it could be either one. It's just a pain to deal with. But that fight went pretty easily for us. Dropped the minstrel, dropped the hunter. They both went down basically within seconds of each other. And he hasn't hit sprint fast enough. We've already got him stunned. He's not going to be able to get away. And that's the end of that. Alright, here we are next to a raid. What we want to do is we want to pick a target and take it down to support the raid. So we pick out a minstrel and we push forward. We actually spent a little bit too long waiting, and the main raid is actually pushed in very effectively and already taken out most of the freep raid by this point. However, if we'd managed to get in a bit earlier, being a small group right next to a raid and pushing in and taking out key targets like lore masters, hunters, minstrels, runekeepers, you can cause a lot of extra panic and confusion. You create a second target for the healers to worry about, and depending on how effective you are with your surprise attack and with your initial burst DPS, if you can take out important targets that are doing a lot of the damage, that are being target assistance, that are doing the healing, crowd control, etc., you can create a great opportunity for the main raid to push in and finish off the other raid. So being next to a raid, you can be effective as a small group, but you really have to know what you're doing, and there's a lot less margin for error than if you're actually in the raid itself. Also, you typically don't gain the same kind of infamy that you would being with the main raid, because you don't get credit for all the kills. But if you just want to be with some friends and you're just having a more casual, relaxed night, that's a perfectly fine thing to do. Just go ahead and get in it. So anyway, small grouping in Isengard. I think it's gotten more effective than it was before Update 5. It's still around the same area. As you can see, had trouble with the minstrels. Minstrels are just really tough opponents, and with the mitigation issues that are also up, I mean, it's just hard to deal with them. One minstrel, or one of any given tactical class, you can deal with that pretty easily and effectively, especially if you got 2 or more people. But as soon as you start stacking more of them together, then the problem with the mitigation just compounds, and it becomes harder and harder to deal with. And especially if you've only got one healer for your side, then you really run into trouble. If we'd had a defiler along for that one fight, when it turned into 4 or 5 versus 3, and we managed to get, I think, 1 kill out of that. I think we killed a hunter. Then it would have been a different story. Defilers have great on-the-run healing. Defiler and War Leader heals mesh together really nicely and work spectacularly in conjunction with each other. And we really could have bloodied their noses in that whole fight. But we didn't, and so we got flattened. It happens. You just gotta roll with it. Well, that's really all that there is for this time. Hopefully we'll see more small grouping videos in the future and stuff. Another thing I really hope to put more of eventually is small groups working alongside raids, and just show you exactly how that can work and be effective. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, good luck and have fun out there in Lotro. Ugmog is out.